Okay, great. We're live. I'm just waiting for Kevin, so he might interrupt me speaking to myself. Um, yeah, so what is up, guys? Uh, if you are joining the stream, say hi, and I might see your message like later and stuff. I don't know. I'm not very organized in this, so I just every now and then look to the side and I see a stream. Yeah, today we're just gonna carry on with our app that we have been working on through everything else. Uh, and that is we have our little contestant app. What Richard and Kevin did yesterday off camera is they went and cleaned up our reducer. So our reducer now is limited just to like managing the logged in and logged out state, which is a kind of like hard coded thing that prevents them from, just anyone going onto the app and uploading contestant information and updating stuff there. I did also ask them to make like a hook, um, which I will go speak into that there. Basically, we had a Firebase service, and the Firebase service was the like get contestants. Now they've moved it over to Contestant Display, which is wrong. This is not very well named because you might want to use the same hook somewhere else. So we should call it um, use contestants, or use get contestants. Like because it's a hook, we want to kind of stick with the keyword of use, but I'll tell Kevin that when he gets here. Um, they just copied out. They copied my use viewport and did stuff there, which is I'm gonna get rid of that because we don't need that. Um, so yeah, this whole like naming um, doesn't really matter because it just the only place it gets used is down here. But yeah, I still want to just make it like contestants context. So I'm going to call it just contestants context because it's not like contestant display. It's just like all the contestants context. So I'm just going to do some cleanup here. They obviously know what they've done, and I'll tell them when they get here what to do. Um, yeah, they just copied out their last stuff. I'm going to remove all that because I mean they have reference to that over here in use viewport. Cool. So this is a custom hook that they have built. Um, Basically, you have the contestant's value here and the set contestant's value. And the only thing that our context that they've created here is going to keep is the contestant's context. So it's pretty much an empty array, but it will be filled with contestants, which will have their name and points in that doc area. And you've also added the ID on there and the rank because it's important to have those for our display. We need to actually have their ranks in there. So yeah, that's our contestants display provider. We'll go create another one for getting our contestant as well, just because we want to move like all our services. We want to decouple our components. Decoupling is a cool term. It's basically making sure that one component isn't like responsible for its own data fetching and everything else. Kevin says he's logging in. I should mute this. Um, yeah. So, and even this contestant display provider, I want to well, what I want to do for this is just call it Contestants Provider. There we go. Which does mean where they implement it. I'm assuming they implemented it up here in the index area. Where did they put it? Did they put their provider down? Did they put it in the app? Did they wrap it around their contestant? Yeah, they must have gone into the actual contestant component and wrapped it there. It's all good. I mean, theoretically, if you're only going to use it here, then this is how we'd use it. Okay, so they built the hook and they never actually implemented it. That's a problem. Because the whole point is so that we can use contestants here. So I better wait for Kevin so he comes online so he can see what I'm doing. Yeah. So give me a minute to sort that out. And let me just go onto Hangouts and make sure I share my live link with him. You guys should see my screen actually, it's funny. Like I'm just sharing my screen upon, it's like an infinite loop. Just like sharing on and on and on. And even if I go off here, it's like, again, an infinite loop. Pretty crazy. Anyway, back to VS Code. Uh, yeah, I'm waiting for Kevin to log on. Kevin, let me know when you get here. You're here. What's up? And you shaved your face. I'm just sharing the live stream link here. Um, and yeah, I've kind of already spoken about what you guys were doing. I see you cleaned up the Redux stuff. That's good. Um, yeah, I think you left all the helpers in there. Uh, yeah, you should just remove them. I think while I'm here, I'm just going to remove all these helpers because we know we're not using them. These helpers only get used in our Redux index, and I know that you're not using them, so I'm just going to get rid of them, move them all to trash, and then, because if we do need to, so you did remove them from here, you just didn't remove the files, so that was good. Um, let's go through the other stuff. Action types, you removed everything. The clear contestants input, so we don't need either. Because that was basically for the submitting of contestants. And yesterday I made that video about moving it all to context. Um, I just kind of wanted to have one context example in our app so that you guys can go look at that and yeah. So it kind of isolates our stuff a lot easier to like know what's going on. Um, that means actions over here. If I scroll up, yeah, I even removed it from here already anyway. So yeah, that's good. So that's perfect. I see that you guys didn't actually implement your custom hook. You just made it. Okay, cool. So I was in the process of renaming stuff. I'm just calling it Contestants Context instead of Contestants Display or Contestant Display. And because it's a hook, I'm gonna rename it to use Contestant. Um, because we kind of want to like it's gonna be a hook, and hooks are always gonna be use something. Um, it's kind of just a like semantic way of doing things. We need to remember to export all from here because we do need to actually export the use contestant. Yeah. Sorry, I named it wrong. I'm gonna name it not like that. So I'm gonna name it with a dash. So that's great. Now, in order to use that, where we want to use it is at our contestant display. You removed the no, did you? Did you remove the? I think you removed the service though, right? Because we have an add, a delete, and a get. And get contestant is just getting one contestant. Oh yeah, we didn't need these services because we did it in the component itself. Um, so contestant display over here we have again that is fetching. I'm going to implement that back in. We're going to add it to our hook, but you see what we've done here. If I can go get my hook, I'm going to move this to the side if it can. Well, let me just side split screen it like this. When I stream, everything takes slow. So what you've essentially done in here at use contestant, which totally going to make that alphabetical, is the whole point of this is we've made these two the same. Like this matches this. And the provider we have to put on the outside of our app so that the thing is provided. But the whole point of this is so that we can say this use contestant. We've made a use contestant. I'm going to just call it use contestant for now. If we do like use or to use contestants, like contestants will be the list, and the other one will be like just one. So we've got to remember that weird difference. Um, I'm gonna go in here and import that. What am I importing it from? I'm importing it from hooks actually. So I'm importing use contestant from hooks. And that means I can get rid of this whole like use effect, use state, everything. And just say const contestants equals use contestant. There's one more thing. So obviously we don't need this. That's not the one more thing, but I'm just cleaning up as we go. So yeah, this is what this essentially does is, we're returning the use context. Remember now we've made a contestants context which has just contestants in it. So it's just got that one contestants in there and we're like good to go. So that's all cool. But yeah, we don't need DB services anymore. Now, the one thing that we need to do is we need to wrap our app in this contestants provider. So this provider over here. Okay, so we've done it already before, and I'm going to do it up in the index level of our app. I'm going to wrap a whole app. I thought you might have done it around the contestants display, which would have also, like you could have done it around the roots app or something. Or maybe I should check, yeah. Like down here. Yeah. Okay, well yeah, you weren't actually exporting the contestants display from hooks, so that might have been the problem. Yeah, because you forgot to export it from your hooks index. So I fixed that. I added this line in. You guys forgot to do that. So if you wanted to, okay, oh yeah, yeah, it's cool. I'm gonna let's go check the app.js. Okay, so it's not in there. The only other place I can imagine it being is you putting it in pages. Um, if you put it in the home page. I think we just get rid of that user page or contestant page. I can't remember which one it was. Um, yeah, so you could have wrapped it here as well, but I mean, we want to make sure that that hook's always available throughout our app, so we're going to do it in here. But it says use contestant. It's supposed to be use contestants there. Anyway, this contestants provider I'm going to put in here. I think I'm going to do a bit of cleanup before we start like doing things, just so we don't get overwhelmed, because I think that's what might be happening is like there's just stuff everywhere. So I think your cleanup does help, like it's good. But I'm gonna move like a bunch of these stuff like out to their own thing. So, okay, cool. So there we go. We've got this viewport provider, and we've got contestants provider, and that just means over here, back here, we need to it's use contestants, not use contestant. Contestant Z. Yeah. Okay, so you forgot to actually use your custom hook that you built. Yeah, because you still had the old stuff here. You didn't replace it with the hook, so it was, yeah. And that the whole point of this hook is now, we've moved all that complicated logic into this little hook, so you could like, go use this hook wherever you want without having to rewrite that like, 15 lines of code kind of thing. I do want to update this hook to have an is fetching thing, but we'll do it after some cleanup. But yeah, before I clean up, yeah, question's good. Yeah, yeah, yes, because it's not a default export, it's a named export. So that's different. That, sorry, if I go back to the right place. So for imports, it's about like there's two syntax things here. For imports, it's because you're importing a named export, not like a default export. It's just export const use contestants. That's where we're getting it from. Or we, yeah. This is we have a context. Yeah, we have a context, and what we're saying here is context dot contestants, and we're destructuring context and getting contestants out of the like the contest. Yeah. So this, yeah, exactly. So use contestants will return an object. It's always gonna like, I mean, we could return a value technically. Um, yeah, if we wanted to, which I'm not because I want to add like an is fetching thing in here. If we wanted to, we could change the syntax of our hook. If I could just get it onto the freaking screen. I did put it on here. Um, it should be in show messages. I only sent it after you logged on. Um, yeah. So you see our contestants provider here. That value, the context value, is this in here. It's an object. Now, if I said just contestants, then the value would actually be the contestants value. Um, so then you could actually return just like the array instead of an object with contestants array in it. You know. But we're doing this because I want to add another value in here. And if you want to add like if you want to return multiple values from a context, then like you're gonna need to return it in an object. So there's just like those little syntax like things of like knowing what are you sending around. Are you sending a string around or are you sending an object with a key that has a string in it around? In this case, we're sending an object with a key that has the contestants array in it. The key is contestants and the value is the array. Um, we're not just sending in like the array. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. So the thing with props is the way React works is like, if you pass a prop, it's always going to be an object props. Props is always an object. So you've always got to destructure like props. But when it comes to this context stuff, even like use state, if you wanted to, you could make like a state object to be like an actual object instead of like a string. Um, like I think I've showed you an example of that early on. Is like, you can do contestant input and make that an object of name and points, instead of just having two different set states. But they're kind of easier to read if you just keep them separate in their own little concerns. Depends on, again, like what makes your code easier to read and understand. If there's two things, then yeah, sure, just put them in two different state things. If you have to have like a form with 10 items in it, rather just have like a form object. Um, so yeah, that's it's kind of that. Again, it's mostly just grasping the syntax of like how this works. You should get over time and understanding the difference between this being, the value. The outer brackets are like just holding the value. The inner brackets mean that it's an object. Like, so those blue brackets on the outside mean that this is like holding the value. And the white brackets inside mean we're holding an object with the key contestants. Contestants, we could actually like label it as like an empty array. but we're using the contestants from the set this state over here. So originally it is an empty array, but we're updating it via set state. So that's pretty much that. Yeah, so we set contestants over here. Once every time a snapshot happens, we update contestants. So every time Firebase sends a little message to us, we say like this whole DB function is a subscription method. And an on snapshot means on like Firebase sending some data down. When Firebase sends the data down to us, we take that snapshot and we update contestants based off of that snapshot value. And then the unsubscribe is just us naming this subscription function, and then we call that subscription function. Like once you call the function, we unsubscribe it. It's kind of just a weird syntax thing, but yeah. So and that obviously happens when our like it happens when this provider unmounts. So it doesn't actually ever happen because the provider's at the root level of the app, but it happens in there. So I am going to. I'm wondering, are we using these refresh contestants buttons yet? You just commented them all out. I'm going to delete them for now because they're like pointless. And refresh points as well. We'll add them back in when we plan on adding them in, like because we haven't put any like cool styling around it and stuff like that, so it's not like we're missing out on much. That just means over here, I need to make sure that you've already deleted that. I'm just gonna keep this as clean as possible. Dispatch button you've also commented out, which is good. It means we're not using it, so I can delete that too. Yeah, I wanted to just make sure that we're not doing all that. I wonder why header is different. Maybe it's because it's a class component. Although did we change it? I'm sure we changed it. Yeah, it's class component. Should I quickly make it a not class component? Just because it's so simple. So yeah, this will be const header equals this. Yeah, our little arrow function. Delete that, and there's our header function. Nice and quick. It's being consistent, I guess. I don't think we have any class components in our app anymore. I can I've changed your life. Everything you learnt was not wrong, just not useful. I mean, I can do a find all and see if there's any class components in here. No, there's class name. The class person is your playground test thing. I mean, we're not writing tests right now, so I'm gonna remove that folder. Oops. Delete that. Yes, removing that. Does your tasks got anything in there? Is it just like you? Alright. Okay, I'll leave that there for you. I'm gonna remove dummy because as far as I know, we're not using dummy.js for anything. I think this is where you kept your contestants early on. Wait. Oh yeah, this is where I wrote a bunch of code over your existing stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna delete that. Cool. That should update soon. And yeah, I'm gonna just quickly git push like this stuff. It's pretty much been clean up, I guess. Clean up and implemented custom hook. Yeah, so again, when we make our custom hooks, we all want to make them start with use something because that it's a semantic term for it being a hook. Theoretically, the other stuff would still work, but we just want to be like semantically correct so that we know when we say use something, we're referring to a hook. Next thing I want to actually do in here is I'm going to make a new thing because part of our cleanup, again, since we are mostly cleaning stuff up, is if we look at this index here. So I must do a bunch of stuff. Um, so like this stuff's all good, but I want to move this persister and this store out to like its own little thing, just because it's extra, like, you know, all this stuff that we have to import. Um, but I also want to, like, we're gonna make more custom hooks, and having all of these is gonna be quite not nice. Um, so I'm gonna make one like big custom hooks provider, which will just merge all our providers together. Um, yeah, pretty much. So I'll wrap them all together, yeah. And I made like a Stack Overflow like post to learn how to do that, so we can just go look at that. Um, but let's first move this other stuff like just into wherever they need to go. Um, because we need to figure that out. And then I'm thinking like in order to make a custom hook for like getting a single contestant, we need to make a hook that can take in an input. And I don't actually know. I have an idea of how to do it. Um, but I just need to research how to do like how to add like a thing for context. Add in like a parameter to context in React and see if that's possible. Because otherwise, like flip, I don't know how to do like cool stuff like that. Like, you know, to make like a configuration option. Because if we want to obviously like use a single contestant, we need to pass their ID in. And I don't know how to make a definition for that. But yeah, first of all, I'm going to move all the store and persister stuff. The store and persister is going to go into, I'm going to make a configure store function, so that we can just get that function from here. And I'm going to put it in core. And core is just going to be, like, if we have other, like, weird stuff that we want to do, we'll also stick it in here. But first of all, we'll make configure store. And in this index here, we're going to export, I guess it'll just be default, configure store from /configure store. So nothing super new here. We're just, you know, moving our code out and like, yeah, showing you that you can organize stuff, but knowing this will be helpful. So that's good. We just obviously have to make our configure store index file here. Cool. I'm going to go into this app here and just go see what we're doing here. So we're pretty much, what we want to get out of this is we want to get store and we want to get persister. So our const configure store is mostly going to copy stuff. Persisted reducer, actually, wait. Does it even need to be a, I mean, we could just export our like created store and persister, or nah, let's still make it a function. So persisted reducer, I'm gonna take and just stick it up outside of this. And then I'm gonna make the store and persister go inside here. And in the end, I'm just gonna return from here, return store and persister. I mean, if I wanted to, I could stick persisted reducer like inside the function. It really doesn't matter. We need to import here. Yeah, we need to import everything. Configure store. It doesn't take in anything. Um, I mean, it can take in an initial state if we wanted to like specifically say an initial state, and we'll just by default make it equal an empty object, and that initial state is what's supposed to go in over here. But that's kind of just straight out of the Redux docs. Like, it's not like I know that that specifically goes there. Just from working with this a lot, I know that that's the case. You have your reducer that you put in here, then you have the initial state, and then anything after this is like middleware stuff that you want to add on. And DevTools Enhancer is one of those middleware things. I don't actually know if the DevTools Enhancer is supposed to have an initial state in there too. I should quickly look at like another project of mine, because I copied stuff from our actual project. Which yeah, you can see this. It's fine. My configure store is a lot more hectic. Yeah, that doesn't help me. Compose with DevTools extension. Yeah, I have like this whole other method. So maybe if we go look at my GitHub, we can like see how I did it there. So let's just go look at my GitHub Sudoku issue. But yeah, I will go back to that other project of mine to what am I gonna do with it? To get that little helper function that I made on Stack Overflow. So what am I doing? I'm here going to code, and I don't care about my security vulnerabilities. Doesn't matter to me. Cool. There's my configure store function. Because this one's more like, I don't know. I know I was doing what I wanted to do properly here. Yeah, so I didn't have to put anything in yet. It's just as it is. Yeah, I did put my persistent reducer outside. So yeah, we just need to import all that stuff. I'm actually just going to import it from here because I know it's like, right, the reducer will not come from modules, it will come from reducer. So reducer comes straight from reducer, and then I'm just going to move this whole thing up. There we go. And that's like, we're just moving this out to its own little like logic file basically. So this should, it's supposed to be default as. So again, nothing particularly new. We're just, we moved everything out of here. So now we can, we can import configure store straight from core. And over here we can say const, and remember our configure store returns an object which has, it has persister in it and store. So I'm going to destructure that from the function that returns that configure store. So again, this configure store here, this is what gets exported. It takes in an initial state, but it's possible for it to be undefined, and if it's undefined, we'll return an empty object. Because I'm not putting anything in here where we use it, it's undefined, so it just returns an empty object. It's okay for us to return an empty object there, because our reducer returns an initial state, which is what it should be. So it's like, yeah, you kind of get the idea. It's a bit strange, but yeah. So anyway, that said, I can remove that, and I can remove all of that stuff because we only needed this stuff in the configure store function. So I think it's some pretty good cleanup, because now we don't have we only have the providers in here. We don't have any weird stuff. I'm not going to combine all of these into their own their own like custom like merged one. I'm just going to provide our own ones because our own ones are the ones we're going to be adding on top of what we have. So I just want to go see why is this complaining? I think if I just like copy and cut it will be good. I don't know. I don't know why that was complaining. Cool. So that was that. Our components are already a lot cleaner. Now, oh my gosh, I haven't been sharing the right screen. Basically, we moved everything into this configure store file, removed it, and then that meant in our index.js over here, we could get the persister, which is the store and the persister here. I'm going to be OCD and make this alphabetical. Just because, I mean, this part can't be alphabetical. This has to come after we've, created store, obviously. But returning an object, I like my keys to be alphabetical. Anyway, this configure store function returns an object persister and store. We destructure persister and store from that returned object when we call the configure store function. So returns this, and yeah, what you could say is this is the configured store here, and we're destructuring persister and store out of that. Great. So that's cool. Now, in hooks, I made a little provider folder here because this provider is going to be our custom hooks provider. And I'm going to quickly go look at my other project. Yeah, this project. Nobody else can see that project, but I guess you technically can. So in here, there's a hook, and I'm just gonna copy like all of that. I'll explain once I copy it over. I just want to see what I did here with my returning as well. I think I just fetched it directly from there. Anyway, so our provider hook here. I'm gonna make a new folder, index.js. So this is going to be a specific thing that, because we use JSX for import React, we're not using TypeScript, so I'm going to take out the FC stuff. It's not like relevant to what we're doing. But I think that's all the TypeScript out. Yeah. So we're basically making like a higher order component here called wrap with. And what this wrap with does is it like it builds a new component that it like wraps all like I pretty much got this from like Stack Overflow, so I just needed like an answer, and these two things they actually we should be getting use contestant and use viewport. Contestant. So what this does is it wraps our like our viewport and our like contestant components together. So use contestant, and whichever one comes first will be the outer one. So it'll be like viewport provider, and then inside there will be contestant, and like inside there will be something else. So I mean, I'm just gonna put our. Why am I doing this? It shouldn't be use viewport. It should be viewport provider. Yeah. So and we do, and it's not even use contestants. I should call that use contestants there, which I didn't. Sorry. That should come from use contestants, which I need to rename. See, I'm already getting confused between use contestant and use contestants. Use contestants means we're doing the list. But yeah, um, I just have to get used to it. And yeah, sorry, what's doing it? Over here we have to see our contestants provider. So, I mean, pretty much what happens is it just like, this is similar to that, the wrappers is an array. It's an array of like viewport provider is a wrapper and contestants is like a wrapper. And what this does is, um, each wrapper, uh, like it's very hard to explain because it's the way reducer works. So rendered is like the list of rendered stuff. Okay, like rendered is that accumulator, like, and for each like wrapper that we go over, we we add the component, and then we put what's like rendered in there. But because we're saying reduce right, we actually reduce like, I think you reduce the other way around. Yeah. So you'll start from the back and you'll go, because the normal reduce is reducing from left to right. So it will take the thing and then put something around it, then put something around it. But reduce right is like a reverse reduce. So it takes the last element and then does something and then does something and then does something. So very weird, but like honestly, this is the only time I've ever used it, like ever. But like, yeah, I know what it does. I obviously have to fix this input error, but like, yeah. So what's happening now is rendered is what's currently being rendered. Every time it returns something, rendered becomes that new returned item, and then that new returned item, and the like new each time. So it goes from the right. Originally rendered is empty, so rendered is nothing. Then we're wrapping rendered with a contestants provider. Cool. And then like the next thing, like we go to viewport provider and we're wrapping that rendered contestants provider with like, the viewport provider. And if we add more stuff, we'll wrap it like on and on and on. So what essentially you have is, in the end, you'll have viewport provider, contestants provider inside there, and then children. This is just more weird syntax things that I didn't know about where you can add children in like that. Some like JavaScript guru really helped me out there. Yeah, yeah. Basically, it's like an it's a loop. It's like a, yeah. So wrap with is like special thing, and then we return this combined provider. So I just need to go in here and fix this. The use contestants to be use contestants. Yeah, that's fine. Um, so we do need to implement that. And what I'm going to do, because we only use this once, we know that we'll never use it again. I'm not actually going to export it from hooks. I'm just going to import it directly from hook/provider. So over here, I'm going to import, because remember we exported default wrap with, and that returns this custom hooks provider. So I'm just calling it custom hooks provider, and it's coming from hooks/provider. And then we just need to replace our viewport provider and contestants provider with this hook. Now the order for what we're using now isn't like important, but it could be like important, because you could use an existing hook inside a custom hook if you wanted to. Like let's say that we wanted our use contestants hook to make use of like the width value of our screen. That means the viewport provider has to be on the outside. It's a bit confusing and weird, but basically if you wanted to, you could use like a hook within a hook, but then you have to make sure that the hook that you use inside another custom hook, that provider needs to be wrapped by the other hook's provider. Like, yeah, you just need to have your wrapping done correctly. But I mean, we haven't got an example of where that's important yet, but it is good to know in case you run into weird errors that's hard to explain. Um, I think this is just telling me to, yeah, tasks has been updated and we haven't saved it. Yeah. Let's just quickly make sure that our app is still working. uh, cool. Um, yeah, I'm gonna remove K. K worked. Let's add Richard back in there. Give him like a good old 11 points. Boom, he's in the top. Right, so that works, which is awesome. So yeah, we've done a lot of cleanup.
Yeah. Are you still there? Bro, I can't hear you. Can you please just ask them to turn that down a bit for me? Just say, Kev, please can you turn it down? I can just go drop those things off just now. I'm gonna make. Fine.
Okay, guys. I am back, kind of. I'm just busy setting up all my stuff on my end. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Now you're gonna hear doubles. I bet. I'm gonna join, get all set up, and joining back up with Kevin. I just need to like set some things up because something just bugged out. Um, but I will be with you guys soon. So there we go. Uh, what was I gonna say? Okay, I need to get his link. It's not the rappers hook. Kevin said to me it's the rappers and hooks. It's like, no, it's not. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. Um, we'll get there. Okay, I just I opened the wrong project. So I guess I can show you guys back to VS Code. Am I showing the right one? Yes, I am. Cool. That's great. Okay, I'll join up with Kevin soon. He has sent me a link that will allow me to join his call. Just let me know if you guys can still hear me okay, I guess. Sweet. I'm going there. I are joining his call. There's a bit of annoying things. I really need a better laptop. Like I'm using a MacBook Air for everything. I need to get a Pro, but I'm saving up for other important things. I should start like a little side fund for MacBook Pro. People can like donate to me. If only people watched that would be great. Yeah, my internet's like really, really sucking here. So, yeah, I mean, do let me know in the comments if you're watching, if anything's going on. I'm sorry for the delay and interruption and things. I don't know why things are running so slow. Guys, I will be back in like a minute, I promise. Just gonna stop streaming to help speed up connecting to. Okay, stopping streaming didn't really seem to help with that, so that's a bit of a problem. But I think I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Maybe it did help. Yay.
Yes.
Cool. I'm back.
Hey, what's up?
What is happening?
Megan's tuning me, yeah.
Unless you can't hear me. Can you hear
I can
me?
hear you. Yeah.
Can you not hear me? Is it me again? Okay, you
I don't
can
know.
hear me and I can't hear you.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Yeah, it's me.
Let me see if I can change my settings to
How about now?
just go to my headphones, I guess. Okay. Does that work? No, it does not. I do not hear you. Why? Why does everything hate me? Why does things just break out of the blue? Okay. I yeah, if I play the testing sound, it doesn't work. Okay. I have an idea. I'm gonna try and sort this out and fix it quickly on my own, and we'll start up like in 15 minutes. Does that sound good? You can give me like a thumbs up if that's cool. Okay, sweet. So I will. Oh no, you're giving me a thumbs down. Give me a thumbs down, you monster. Okay. Yeah. So I'll try sort that out, and then like yeah, we'll start up
Cool.
again in like 15 minutes. Cool.
Sweet, my
So,
boy.
cheers. I'll just rejoin this call like when I'm sorted. So stay on here. Okay, bye. Okay. Yeah, so guys, if I don't get this fixed, I won't be able to sort Kevin out. So I'm gonna stop streaming, and I will be back in 15 minutes. We'll be back. Okay, guys, we're back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I've tested my headphones; they are working. Uh, so I'm joining back with Kevin. Yeah, I can hear you. It's all fixed and wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Um. So yeah, I think I've started streaming again.
Cool.
Yeah, my Chrome goes to the right place. Okay, sweet. Um.
Awesome.
Right. I mean, we're at a good place. So yeah, our custom hooks works now. Our provider's working. It's all good. Um. And what I was looking up the React docs. So yeah, let's. I must probably share my screen with
Cool.
you. That would
Yeah,
probably
and
help.
can you
Yeah.
just send me the link again that you're on? The VS Code
Right. I
link.
need to set that up again. Yeah. So I'll share my screen. There you go. And then VS Code live share. Start another collaboration session. Okay, it's busy making me the code. For now, I'm gonna go check in and say React custom hooks. So I think the docs will actually. I said custom hooks. I'm sure the React
Custom
docs will
hooks,
actually
man.
show us how to do something like that. Maybe. Otherwise, I need to like find another way. Um,
All these ways.
yeah, all these ways extracting a custom hook. So they're making a use friend status, and they are using like an ID, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, they kind of okay, I get what they're doing. Um, now that I think of it, we don't. Maybe we do. Do we need the provider? Yeah, the provider's good. Um, but we don't need. Okay, okay. I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, the way we did that whole provider context thing,
Yeah.
it was good for our use viewport. But
Okay.
what I actually think we should do for um, this use contestants
Yeah.
is instead of using context for it, we just kind of what we could do is just return an objects of contestants in here. So I think this will work. Um,
Can you just send me the live share quickly?
yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
Uh,
Just want
I
to copy the link.
think it has been copied to my stuff. So let me write it here. Nope, that's not what I copied. My bad.
Code.
Yeah. Invite participants. There we go. Now
Cool.
it's in there. Sweet. Okay, so anyway,
Yeah.
I'll use contestants hooks here. It doesn't do anything. Instead of returning like a use context, like a modified kind of use context thing, we're just going to return the object contestants.
Okay.
And that means we don't need any of this stuff. um, so we won't need create context and use context. Because essentially when we use the hook, we're gonna subscribe and we're gonna like unsubscribe, and like
Okay.
there is kind of the thing of like if like we're probably never gonna have a component,
Yes.
like we're never gonna have two different components showing all contestants information. If we do, it's not that bad. We'll just have two subscriptions, which is not great.
Yeah.
But the point is like you probably usually only going to show like fetching contestants like once at a time. So we'll subscribe and we'll unsubscribe whenever the component's not showing. The problem with when we had the other way that it was set up,
Mhm.
Wow, which actually means we don't need this yet, or we don't need the contestants provider because we don't have a contestants provider anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna leave this here because we might want to add other hooks that do like run the full time that the app is going.
Okay.
Just like because this is good. Like we've done this. It's useful. It just means yeah, for this contestants one we won't.
Okay.
So yeah, my thought is we like with the viewport, you want the whole app to constantly be monitoring the width and height of your like browser. So
Okay.
that's why you keep it in like a context kind of thing and wrap our whole app in it. Because you might
Cool.
have multiple components showing at once that rely on that value. But the
Okay.
contestants component, you probably won't. You probably won't be getting all of them at once.
Yeah.
Another example of where we want our whole app to have it there is the is logged in. You want to constantly be subscribed to the user being is logged in. That will go with the use viewport stuff. So use viewport will have a provider, and like use is logged in status. If we kind of moved over to Firebase, we'll have that like a provider that goes on the outside of the app. So I know
Okay.
it's very confusing because it's not really what we've done. Like,
Okay.
but on the upside, our hook is a lot simpler.
Yeah, way simpler.
Yeah. Anyway, while I was at that this means we
Cool.
can easily add a ID in here, like for the single contestant. Um, and for adding contestant and deleting contestant, we can move them all to hooks quite easy.
Okay.
But yeah, that provider is just if a hook has a provider, we'll stick it in there. Which viewport does, obviously, because I mean we're not using it, but if we were to use it, we'd probably use it in multiple places in the app and have them all
Cool.
just subscribe once. That way we can unsubscribe and resubscribe to Firebase depending on whether or not a hook is like a component is using this hook or not. So yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Cool.
what I wanted to do was make an is fetching in here and set is fetching.
Oh, yes, I
So
remember.
initially, the first time that we're getting contestants, we're gonna just say use state, and we're gonna say is fetching is true. The first time we use this hook, we haven't actually done any fetch on the contestants yet, so it's gonna be
Yeah.
empty. So, um, like initially, we just want to say that, and then
Cool.
over here on our snapshot, I'm gonna say if, just like if it's if it is fetching.
Yes.
Then set it to set is fetching to false. So this just means it will run like that one time,
Yeah.
and yeah, just that one time in there. I mean, I think no, yeah, it's good in here. It's perfect in here. So because we don't want to reset is fetching, we don't want to rerun the command if it's already false. It's just like the if is to make it run once and only once.
Okay.
It won't make a difference if you just had this. That's good too. But the thing is, we
Okay.
never set is fetching to true like ever, so it's not like we
Cool.
changing it or toggling it and stuff. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, I'm showing the wrong screen. Damn it. So annoying because like basically we got rid of all the provider stuff for use context. Yo, we don't even need to use React because we're not using any JSX in here. But yeah, we updated
Cool.
our use context. Our provider here, we only have like an outer provider for viewport provider because we're not going to use context anymore. This hook
Yeah.
got a lot simpler because we don't have to like use context. You're just kind of moving that custom use effect and set code into its own little hook. And then final thing in here, we want to like send is fetching out here. And this is why
Okay.
I returned contestants as an object because I wanted to add another value for is fetching.
Yes.
So now, if we go into our component display or contestant display, we can get is fetching from here as well. And that way I can have this is fetching contestants thing here. So now if we go to our component, our React component, I can show everyone else that it says Does it still say the no freaking contestants? What the heck? Yeah,
We
fetching
didn't put.
contestants, and then did
Oh,
you
there
see
we
it did
go.
that quick flash of like fetching
Yes.
contestants? Like, so it doesn't say like no contestants and then suddenly contestants. It like does say
Okay,
fetching.
cool.
And now if we update it, it's just gonna like you remove it and then it will update automatically because we're subscribed. That might take like a very split second, but it should be
Okay.
quick. Like
Where did so the fetching.
yeah,
Um, so when you refresh, it says is fetching.
yeah.
So now I just wanted to ask you quickly. Let me just refresh here. So where's it getting that is fetching from quickly? Just
So
so that I know.
we're saying the is fetching contestants here. It's getting is fetching from use contestants, which is what we just added in over here. We said is fetching is true initially.
Yes.
So we always this use hook is going to return the values and it's going to update whenever
Okay.
normal React lifecycle stuff. So it is
Yeah.
fetching true initially.
Okay.
So its default state is true. After the first
Yes.
fetch, like we run this command here. This we set is fetching to false.
Okay. Yes.
So if we didn't do this line, then it would just say is fetching the whole time, even though contestants was updated. Because
Okay.
because of what we have in our contestant display, we first say if it is fetching, then return fetching.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, no, I get that, but I'm saying, did we make a div where it says fetching contest? Oh, there.
yeah,
Yes, is
H4.
fetching
Yeah,
return. Oh, there we go.
yeah.
Awesome.
So that's where it comes from. Is like we just with this component we first check if it is fetching, then we return fetching contestants. We leave the rest.
Okay,
Otherwise, we
cool.
return the contestants.
Oh,
So
awesome, bro. That's flipping cool.
yeah. So that's like pretty epic. Now we can go
That's
and
perfect.
pretty much build out the other hooks now, like with services. Um,
Yeah. Which is the update points on the same name type of stuff and all that.
yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm wondering because our update contestant will technically just be a. Hmm. Let's do get contestant um, first, just because that's a fetch, because the other ones aren't really fetches. But it would be nice to put them into their own little hooks. That's like
Yes.
um, where we can still have like an is fetching and we can have a command, like an is doing
Okay.
something and command.
Okay, so
So
what are we gonna do now? What's our task, like
so
basically?
sorry, this is supposed to be use contestant now because we. I'm wondering if I should just call them use get. No, I'll call it use contestant. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to convert this get contestant here
Yes.
into
Oh,
uh,
into a hook.
yeah, into a hook. But remember how we did this? It's gonna be quite weird because um, I want to make it kind of similar to this. So there's our use contestants, and we're gonna add in use contestants down here. I'm gonna do like a bit of like weird magic, and I'm gonna hide this for now, just so that we have more screen space.
Cool.
Ah, my bad. So, um, yeah, we still have to handle the existing contestant update. We'll do that, but
Yeah.
for now, what I want to make is a hook that's also going to monitor like the contestant changing, so that if we are looking at an individual contestant and some update happens to it, that update happens real time. If we're looking at a
Okay, cool.
contestant page, we see their points and stuff. But what if their points or rank or something changes? You want to see that
Yes.
happen in real time, right?
Yes.
So this is what that's going to do. Which over here, this is just the method to actually do it. So we got
Yes.
to remember this rank and found doc and stuff. But I want to make it
Yes.
real time. So the real
Okay.
time thing, I'm also converting it to a hook at the same time. So that's why I'm going to copy a little bit from my use contestants thing, and I'm going to look at this and I'm going to kind of merge them into one, and then I have to go actually implement it as a hook.
Okay.
So it's a bit of like got your like finger in a whole bunch of different pies, but like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like important.
Cool.
So this is all standard. Nothing like special about importing those. We know that it's going to be the case.
Yeah.
I'm going to export function use contestant, just simple one contestant,
Yes.
and we're going to need their ID as input.
Cool.
So now I'm going to say our contestant is just going to be the state here, and we're going to have set contestant, just contestant, and we're going to say use state. If this is empty, it means the same as undefined, but
Yes.
I'm just like gonna leave it empty because we know that means undefined.
Automatically, yeah.
I'm gonna add another one for is fetching just to get that first fetch. Set is fetching. So far so good, nothing new.
Yes.
The next part, I have to think. So we could do like I am thinking it's good to wrap our old one in a try catch.
Okay, cool.
Just in case something went wrong. No, not that far. No, never mind. I think you can. We don't need to do a try catch because we're not actually awaiting here. We're not.
Yes.
It's not like async await. We can actually just say dot catch over here, and it will leave us with an exception and. Well, it's a callback.
Cool.
So if it's here, we can alert like something went wrong, and then we'll console.log the exception. EX. There we go. I wrap my console logs in like these because it like makes it easier. You can actually put like another thing in here like contestants, and then you can like see in the console log these are the different values, the different keys. Like so you actually log in an object of the things. So I like to just do that. Like you could, if you wanted to, just do .ex. So that's why I do those things. Got a good happy ringtone there. Cool. So that's just something I want to do. That means this whole right. This that catch basically is what we're gonna do over here.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so we needed to do. We need to get the snapshots. We do the whole snapshot thing. So perfect.
Yes. Bro, can I ask you a big favor?
Yes.
So can we do the whole function and stuff and then convert it afterwards to a hook?
We already have. It's over here.
Is this it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but like basically, the whole function. Yeah, no, sorry. So this is a function before we made it like live database stuff.
Yes.
But the thing is, look, if you look at this thing here, this use contestants,
yes.
Everything up until this return statement
yes.
is exactly the same as what it was inside the component.
Okay, yes.
So, like all you're doing is saying, I want to put this the set states, the two set states and the use effects, I want to put it into a block of code. Okay. And now that block of code is a custom hook, so we can reuse that block of code anywhere.
Okay. Alright.
So it's yeah. If I was going to put it into a like as a function itself, I would literally just copy the whole contents and then just return the important values in the end.
Okay. So now we're just making the hook. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I am making it into like real-time database function and into a custom hook in one, but that's because that transition from implementing it in a component to making a custom hook.
Yeah.
Cool. Essentially, when you do make it in future, you'd skip that whole process of doing it in a component. Okay. Again, it's the process of like decoupling. So like what's happening is you are saying like, okay, I want this logic of fetching the details to be in its own like separate hook rather than putting it in the component, and then you can use that separate hook in the component and you can use it in another component if you wanted to do somewhere else, and
Yeah.
all that wonderful stuff. And again, we can add like configuration options to the hook, so we can make the hook slightly configurable as well.
Okay, cool. All
But
right.
yeah, so I'm gonna pretty much copy most of
Okay.
this.
Yeah. Let's see.
So unsubscribe, because this is what we'll call upon returning. So
Yeah.
afterwards we return a callback, and that callback will be unsubscribe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, let me just recall unsubscribe. So there's the return is happening.
Yeah.
This is going to be db.collection. We're looking at contestants.
Yes.
So yeah, what we will eventually do is to set our contestant, we'll do the found doc stuff. But yeah,
Okay.
so we'll do our normal order by, and the reason we have to order by, even though we're looking at like to just find one contestant, is
Yes.
to get their rank.
Cool.
And now we should do on snapshot. So every time this changes, oops,
Yeah.
yeah, it's getting long. I'll save it in a second.
Sharp shot. Sharp shot.
On snapshot.
Yeah.
on snapshot.
Yes.
We're just saving it so it goes all back to like one line. Basically, we'll have a new snapshot. So every time it changes, we get a new snapshot.
Yeah.
Every time it changes, we will update this contestant. So what essentially is going to happen is on snapshot we will we'll let rank equal 0. We'll start doing the stuff over here,
Yes. Okay.
and then if we're going to do the const find doc, and I mean
Yeah.
I can do this whole thing like I can like literally copy that.
Yeah.
I just means copy find doc.
Yeah. So if it found as a doc, then it's
So,
the rank plus.
Yeah, we're gonna find, and every time we go through an item, we're gonna update rank or make rank 1, because we're starting from the top of the list. So first person rank 1, second person rank 2, third person rank 3.
Sweet.
Looping through. If we find the person, we'll return true, and then that will be
Yes.
the found doc, which will
Yes.
also it's the found contestant really.
Yes. Sweet.
Yeah. Then if the contestant is found, because we don't want to set it to.
Yes.
Actually, we could just set it to the found contestant. Oh no. Because yeah, we could set it because it's going to be undefined otherwise. But
Yeah.
let's rather do the if found doc, because then we can do this like data and rank thing.
Yes.
So if the document's found, we will update the state, and it's good to not update the state if it doesn't have to update.
Cool.
We're not instead of returning. So instead of returning, yeah, we're gonna set contestant to
Okay.
that object, which is found doc data. Otherwise rank.
Okay.
And I mean, literally, if you wanted to, you could. No, wait, we can't destructure data from found doc, because found doc could be undefined. So finally, well, we're gonna do two things, or not really two things, but so immediately after that, we will set is fetching to false.
Yes.
And I'm gonna put an else in here, because remember, we're not returning anymore, so we're just gonna do an if else. If the doc is found, we return set contestants. Otherwise, we'll return the alert saying contestant with that ID does not exist.
Yes.
Cool, normal. And yeah, we're not returning undefined or anything. It would stay undefined if we didn't set the contestant. So that's pretty much the same as how it was. The only thing we've added in is the set is fetching false. Now, finally, out of all of this, after we do this, yeah.
There on the alert contestant, that ID does not exist. So now, how would a contestant not be found? What would happen there?
If you typed in the wrong, like, are you thinking on the UI side, or are you thinking how would it actually be possible for a contestant not to be found?
Yes.
So it's possible if they try to hardcode the ID in the URL.
Okay.
and they hard coded the wrong ID in. Like,
Oh, okay.
so if the ID didn't match any of the contestants,
Yes.
then found doc will be undefined, and then the contestant with that ID doesn't exist. That's how, like, because remember we're putting in the ID here, and this ID is actually going to be the parameter from the URL. But like
Okay.
we still want to make it like a manual pass this through because you could use this in a different
Okay.
context.
All right.
Um,
And from the user side as well,
from the
the
what do you mean?
UI side.
The UI side. The UI side will say if contestants exist. We'll first have. I mean, I'm going to implement it now, so let's
Okay.
actually just get there.
Okay. Yeah, I meant to see it from
So
there.
remember, we also need to return contestant and is fetching.
Yes.
So that hook we can get contestant and is fetching from it.
Cool.
Hey, my dad's watching. Hi, Dad.
Hey, there is that.
Sweet. I don't know how long ago he said that. It was pretty recent. Anyway, yeah, let's go implement it. So we don't need any of this anymore. We don't need. I mean, we're gonna get rid of this, but we
Yeah.
first want to make sure it works. Uh, and like, yeah, I do want to do the same with add and delete, and then we can update our add to do the update thing.
Okay.
So it'll be
Sick.
quite a productive video.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
Maybe I should try do the delete one.
I think they're gonna be. Let me do one of them. Let me do the add one, and then you can
Yeah.
do the delete because
Yeah.
the adding and deleting are gonna work a little bit differently
Yeah. Cool.
because they're actions to go do something instead of
Yeah.
fetching something. So I'll do the add, and then you can do the delete on your own.
Cool.
Um,
I really want to see the ad one.
yeah,
That's why. Yeah.
cool.
Please
Let me
don't
just go
leave that one to
see
me.
roots. Totally get rid of our user page for now. I'm gonna get rid of the user page because we're not actually using it. I think we just used it to show off a concept. Is that okay?
What's that?
I'm gonna get rid of the user page because we just used it to like show a concept. It's not really.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
super chill.
I just wanted to show you that like you could use. I should make another video on that called use params. Yeah. So that would be cool. I should do that. I'm gonna do that today. um, yeah. So anyway, we were on the contestant page, and the contestant page is where we did our fetch contestant and all that stuff. So we're gonna remove all that, and we're gonna remove this. So I mean, theoretically, if you wanted to, we could break this up into smaller components. But I'm not going to do it right now. Maybe I'll just do a function.handleBack so that I can do that history.push down there into like cleaning up my JSX. My good practice of doing that.
Cool.
Handleback click, or just handleback, I guess. Let's call it click, and then we'll call it click over here. So I mean, if you wanted to, you could actually put this into its own like smaller things, but I think it's good as is.
Yeah, that looks cool.
You could make like contestant details out of this component, and you can make like a back button over here, and then you don't have to import as many things here. It gets less confusing.
Cool.
Okay, so we don't need any of all of this stuff because we've moved everything to a custom hook. So our custom hook is we're importing. I forgot to export our custom hook. That would be useful. So got to export all from use contestant. There we go.
Awesome.
So now I'm importing use contestant without an S because we're just getting the one from our hooks directory, which is good. And then we can use it in here. We have to use it under ID because we need to use ID for this, but we're going to get contestant const again. Is fetching.
So if we use it before, we obviously can't access the ID.
Yeah, we can use it up here. I'm going to move
Yeah.
history up here. Yeah, because we need to use the ID, and the ID goes in over here. So we're going to say use contestant, and the
Okay,
ID
how
must
does
go in
that
there.
work? Because it's not in alphabetical order.
Yeah, no, it's a bit. Let's make a space. There we go. Uh,
Yeah, it's better.
it's better.
Cool.
So that's it. Hey, like this is all we needed. Um, as you can
Yes.
see, our contestant takes an ID there. That's the ID that we
Yes.
pass through, and then it
Yes.
returns contestant and is fetching.
Yes. And that
Now, on the
includes
UI
the
side of
persister.
things, how things
Yeah.
work is it all runs in order. So as soon as a return happens, the
Yes.
rest of the app is useless. So we first check,
Okay.
is it fetching the contestant? If yes, which it will be initially, we return
Yes.
fetching contestants. Then
Yes.
the next thing we check is if contestant doesn't exist.
Yes.
So like contestant, if it's undefined, um, then we return contestant not found.
Yes.
So if like that's what the explanation means. If contestant is
Yes.
false, which
Yes, I
is
know.
equivalent to contestant being undefined,
Yeah.
then we return them not being found. If
Yeah.
otherwise, if they do exist, and then the not found thing, we handle the error stuff in here. We just make alerts and stuff.
Yes.
And this is fetching. We'll set it to false either way. So if they're found, set is fetching to false. Else,
Yes.
we still set it to false.
Yes.
We always go set it to false because we say we stop fetching, so that you can
Yes.
say they weren't found.
Cool.
Right, and then yeah. Now, whenever contestant updates, whenever the snapshot updates, we can see stuff.
Yes.
Quite cool. Um, so let's go test it.
Okay.
What happened? I must do a .catch in here as well, actually. So I'm just gonna do a catch quickly in case.
Okay.
Sorry, .catch, and that's gonna be the good old ex, and we'll alert something bad happened. You can even like move this like catch handler into like its own little reusable function to just say something bad happened and like
Cool.
console.log. Should do that actually. I'm gonna do it.
I think there's a little brace or something we left in on.
Yeah, sorry. I must
Yeah.
show my console again. Oh, this oh, we forgot to add our dependencies. And the dependency for this is fetching. Because if is fetching changes, you might.
Yes.
We shouldn't actually change.
Um.
Okay, well, I think this will be fine. It might run into an infinite loop though if is fetching changes.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think like if we should remove that, if we should not. I don't know. Yeah, we don't actually set that. So only if is set is fetching changes, then we'll do that, which it never does change, so it's fine. Um, sorry.
It's chill, bro.
And if ID changes, we want to change that, which again it should never change.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to check something. I'm just like doing a little bit of checking with warnings and stuff. Will it complain? No, it doesn't. So the use contestants, I don't think that this should run again and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because I don't think it should be dependent on is fetching. I think that's bad. I think it's a bad warning. I might want to TS ignore it. Okay, what's happening here? Something about catch. Okay, that's probably in here. No. Where is it happening?
That's so weird.
It works second time. It's fine. I think it's fine.
Totally.
No, it's not fine. It's not fine. It's broken. Set is fetching false. That's yeah. You're right. There's something wrong here.
Yeah. If you check, maybe.
Shit. Sorry. It's like why? Um,
I see. Over here. No, that's correct. And then that. That's so weird.
maybe the catch is wrong.
Yeah, now it works.
Yeah. Let me how did that other thing go? Firebase real time React implementation. Or let's say Firebase on snapshot catch, because I think we should be able to handle like an error. It might just be that they don't do a catch and they do a second parameter, which is the error. So, my bad. Because then is actually supposed to happen like on. I wonder if this comes with. So on next is the snapshot, and then the next one is on error. Okay. So there's a second one in here, a second parameter called error. And in here we do an if error, because error can be undefined. Then we do the alert. So sorry, that was a little syntax thing.
Oh, okay.
And I want to make it a one-liner because we're always going to handle it the same.
So we take catch out, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. So this we're going to put on the same on every one of our hooks, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to make a hook, I mean a custom helper, not a custom helper, just I mean a helper, another helper.
Okay.
And we're going to say error handler, or error handler, just because, yeah, that's good. Index.js. And this is just going to be a function called error handler. It's going to take an error.
Yeah.
And it's going to return that. Well, it's going to be a function that does something. So we're going to say if error, do this. Alert, something bad happened. All good. So I'm trying to keep our code simple by like, you know, removing this three-liner and just making it a one-liner.
Cool.
And we can handle it differently later on if we wanted to. And then we just console.log. I mean, we could actually say console.error. This will just make your console log red.
Okay.
So then yeah, we export default, not with brackets. Export default error handler. And then in our helpers, just remember to export it from here.
Yes.
Export default as error handler. Yeah, very useful. Can't spell. There we go.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So
Okay.
now I'm going to use it in both our use contestant and our use. So again, this catch is useless. Snapshot's good. but I'm going to say error, and we're going to say error handler error.
Okay.
And actually, the error handler should go right at the top. And I'm going to wrap it in an if. I'm going to wrap it. So this will be a bit weird. I'm going to go update our error handler function, but I just need to return it. Or import it. It's a bit of a weird syntax, but this is what I like to do at the top. It's like just like an error handler. If error is true, it will return true, but it will also do stuff, and that returned result will make us like hop out of the function. So,
Okay.
I'm gonna import error handler because it doesn't return anything else after that. But it's gonna prevent our code from trying to run,
Yeah.
which is important. Because otherwise our code will still break because there'll be an error and found doc, like there won't be any docs, so it won't find anything, and there'll be all those stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a weird one, I guess, because you haven't seen something like this before. So error handler, I'm actually going to make it return true or false. It will return if that's the case. If there is an error at the end, we return true. So that means that it will return true, so that statement error handler error will be true, so it will return, so it will hop out or break out of the function.
Okay.
And otherwise, if that doesn't happen, we just return false.
Cool.
So yeah. So that's kind of like a little middleware kind of error helper. Pretty straightforward, I guess. So if error handler with the value error returns true, we return to get out to the function. So we stop this snapshot.
Cool.
Otherwise, we keep going.
Cool.
Yeah, this it's kind of like pretty cool because it will keep going again anyway. If an error first happens and then the second time round, like another snapshot doesn't happen, then it will keep going.
Okay.
So it's just like a little middleware kind of thing. So I'm going to import error handler as well from here. Kind of went off topic a bit there.
Slow, bro.
And then we'll stick it in there. Oops, I imported the wrong thing. So again, we say if error handler at error, we return to get out of there, and then I can get rid of this little thing down here.
Okay.
I'm still concerned about this is fetching because I feel like it might trigger an infinite loop, but it might not, and if it doesn't, then we're good. So let's just go back to our app. It seems to be fine. Just checking the console quickly. I'll show everyone else our Chrome. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, if we refresh, just making sure that this sets up properly again. We should be good. No.
Can't resolve hook in.
Okay, I think I just. It's from helpers, not from hooks. So I went and fixed that. Yeah. I just messed up my import naming.
Awesome.
My home loan payment just went off. Okay, well, it works. If we add Richard back in just to test that it's still updating. It updates. And yeah, it's all used in a hook, and we've used our hooks now properly, which is good.
Cool.
Are you cool to go on, like, for us to keep going for a bit?
Yeah, I'm keen for us to do the adding, like updating the add
Yeah, sweet.
contestant thing.
So let's first turn our so again our services.
Yeah.
We can delete that. We're not using it anymore. Hope I said rename. So we're gonna delete the get contestant because
Cool.
we've replaced it with the use contestant hook.
Yeah.
So the next thing we're gonna implement is use add contestant. Uh,
Okay. Um, but now I was gonna say, so if we had to go through the add contestant, could we go and
or we call
do
it
it?
use submit contestant because
Okay.
yeah we want to do that thing. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is convert our existing add contestant into a hook.
Yeah.
We'll call it use submit, and then after that we'll do the check, the input check to
Okay. Cool.
say
All right.
whatever. And I mean that's that like add submit thing is going to be pretty cool because we're going
Yeah.
to use we're going to use name and points as the input for it.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also like we're going to return like a callable function um, for
Okay.
that one. Like so our like what we're going to return from like when we do our maybe I should do the UI side of it first of what it will look like in the end. So it's going to be in our contestant submit thing here. I think you've
Yes.
seen this.
Yeah.
So we won't need this anymore. Um,
Yeah.
we will still need these. So we're gonna go do some like pretty hectic stuff here because we're gonna do it, but then like with a callback kind of thing. So
Okay.
essentially, what we're gonna have out of all of this is we're gonna have a const, and we're gonna call use submit contestant,
Yeah.
and in there we're gonna push name and points.
Okay.
All good, right? Now, the next thing that we're gonna do is from there we're going to get the submit function. So this will be like the thing that we use to trigger the submit,
Okay.
and we'll also get is submitting
Yes.
from there.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So then we don't need to do this like setting true and stuff.
Yeah.
And this submit here, the function that we're going to use, is going to have like a callback to it. So it's going to be submit, and in here we're going to put name, points, and we're going to return a third thing, which is going to be a function that does this. So
Okay.
pretty weird. Um, do you kind of get what's going on here?
Yeah, sort of.
So we haven't made it yet, but yeah, is submitting, that's the same as our is fetching, how it was going to be.
Okay.
But this submit value here, it's not going to be an actual value, it's going to be a function that we can call. And the function is going to have three parameters. It's going to have name,
Yes.
points, and then the third parameter is actually going to be a callback,
Fetch.
which is actually
Yeah.
a function that we will call inside the app. So
Okay, cool.
after a successful submission has been made,
Yes.
we will run this function. You could even
Okay.
add like a second callback in there, like
Okay.
for like on error or something. Like if you wanted
Yeah.
to like make so you can actually add a whole
Okay.
function as a parameter.
Okay, cool.
So this function that we made in here, will run. If we wanted to, we could call it another function in here, and we could say clear inputs.
Yeah, and just okay.
Yeah, we could make it like kind of maybe easier to read, and that would just be something that that did these two things.
Yeah, set name and set points.
Um, and then we can replace this whole function with
Just the clear inputs.
clear inputs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can just put it in like that. You don't have to like call it because we're passing the whole function and we'll call it in the
Yes.
hook. So I think this makes more sense to write it this way and show you how we're going to use it before we
Yeah.
actually go and build it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good to see the simplest way and then
Yeah.
work it out
So
from there.
the whole point of the hook is to make the implementation as simple as possible. And
Okay.
I think this is a good way to make it simple. Because now, if you wanted to do something else on like the submit happening, you could do
Yeah.
that, and we can do it with the get as well. You can make the gets with callbacks. I generally try to avoid doing stuff like callbacks, but in
Yeah.
this case, it just makes sense for us to
Yes.
clear the input that we added in. I mean, if we
Yes.
wanted to, we could send in set name and set points as well, but I think this is better.
Yeah, this is cool.
um, it's just like a cool way to see how we're putting our tools together.
Yeah.
Richard's gonna be really confused when he gets back. Um,
Yeah.
so cool. Let's go make that hook. So first thing, I'm gonna go show this. Put it over here. Remember, we're gonna have is submitting and submit. And submit will take in 3 parameters. So the other thing we need to put in is a new hook, and we're gonna say use submit contestant.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
index.ts. No, I mean JS. My bad. I'm gonna hide this again, which will probably bite me later. And yeah, I'm just gonna put this one in here so I can get a bit of a format of how we've been doing things. So I
Okay,
can
yeah.
like look at what we've been doing, because yeah, again, it's gonna
Okay.
be using use effect, I
Cool.
think. Will it use effect? It might not. Yeah, this one doesn't use effect. It just uses state. Because we're not like doing on this component mounting fetch something. We're on committing the action.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay.
So on trigger.
Yeah.
So const. Well, we also need to import DB, I guess, and error handler. So we're gonna get error handler from helpers. So again, nothing new there. Importing DB from services.
Yeah.
We're doing what's fresh and easy in our minds. And now we're gonna say our function. Like, I mean, again, if you wanted to, you could make this the const thing. Maybe I should be doing that.
Oh yeah.
And like, yeah, like it does. Like that's the thing. It really doesn't matter. Like down here, I could say const, and this
Yeah, just
is equal to this.
Alright.
And I mean, if we wanted to, we could export default this because we're only doing one thing.
Okay.
Maybe I should do that. You know what? I'm just like, it will help us differentiate what has providers and what doesn't,
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that.
Export default, use contestant. Okay, and that's also going to be used for use contestants, and I must remember to go to the import for it as well. So I don't need this export here. Contestants. Cool. And then the use viewport provider is still going to be exporting all because we're exporting multiple things.
Yeah. Perfect.
But this one will export defaults as use context.
Cool.
So the ones with all will mean they need to go into the provider, hook thing.
Okay.
Because they'll have providers that need to be wrapped. So this one's default as use contestant.
Yeah.
And this one is default as use contestants.
Cool.
Sweet. So now over here, I'm going to go back down here and get our use contestant, so we can look at it at how we're doing things.
Cool.
Just because this is a bit of a new syntax for us.
Yes.
So yeah, we're going to say const use submit contestant.
Yeah. Pass in the ID.
Or we're passing in name, and points,
name and
and
point.
we're going to pass in the callback. So this is the callback function that we
Okay.
like. I'm just calling it callback because this is what we will do afterwards.
So we don't need the ID here, hey?
No, because we're making a contestant. If you changed your
Yes.
user interface to be different, then we would. Like if you wanted to,
Okay.
like if you're on an existing contestant and you were updating them from there,
Uh,
you'll take the ID. But the way
okay.
that we're gonna do things is like pretty much what we're gonna do is we're gonna get all the contestants again,
Yes.
and then like when we get all the contestants, what is my? Sorry, I want to just check my OBS. It's looking weird. My face is behind. And also,
Uh,
I'm not showing the right screen.
there we
My video capture must be above.
go.
I think I hid that for my other stuff yesterday, recording.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, um, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get all the current existing documents. We'll do that whole fetch everything that exists, like the same
Yes.
way when we were, getting a contestant. We needed to get all the other ones. So
Okay.
we're gonna get all the other ones. We're going to map through that and see if the name, like the raw name, matches the raw name of the other person.
Yes. Sorry, yeah, because no one's
Yeah.
entering an ID, they're entering the name.
Yeah,
Yes,
so we
of
do that
course.
check. And
Okay.
then only after that do we decide if we're going to add a new person with a converted name
Yeah, or
or if we're
update
going
the
to
point.
update the existing one.
Cool.
And if we do find one with the existing name, we'll go and be like, okay, this document, I want to get the selected ID, and then we will go and update the details of the selected ID that we find matching the name. So we
Okay,
will get
sick,
the
bro.
ID later, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
So in here, we're just gonna have the one thing is submitting. Um, oh my word. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Okay, so by default is submitting is actually gonna be false this time. Set is submitting because we're only gonna start it when we trigger the click.
Okay,
So that's gonna be false.
cool.
Um, now we have the const submit that we're gonna make.
Cool.
Which is going to be our function doesn't take in anything, or it does. Sorry, this doesn't take in anything
Okay.
because we remember the
Yes.
submit function over here is going to take in the stuff.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, I
cool.
understand.
And in the end, we're going to return the object is submitting and the submit function. So I'll get there now, but
Cool,
if we
my
look
bro.
at how we're implementing it, just
Yes.
to get everyone on the same track. We're saying submit and is submitting, and this over here doesn't need the name and points because we put the name and points in over here on the action.
Okay, cool.
So name, points, and then the callback. Callback is clear inputs, and that's what we put in here, and we will run everything accordingly.
Yes, and accordingly.
So
Cool.
again, I'm just going to add in the add functionality for now.
Cool.
So what we're going to do is I'm not going to use like, maybe I should use asynchronous stuff. It is an asynchronous function. We can do the try stuff, but I'm thinking let's try the other way.
Yeah, let's see.
I think it would be good for like our little reusable function to go this way. We're pretty much fine. So immediately I'm going to copy paste these two things. All good. And then we're going to like await. No, we're not awaiting anything. We're just going to say db.collection contestants. And we'll try say add. Oh, first thing I'm going to do. Very first thing.
Yes.
Set is submitting to true. So let's pretend we're just doing the add functionality for now. We'll add in the name
Yeah.
and the points.
Bro, what's raw name and raw points? I think that's the part
Oh,
I missed
oh,
last time.
oh, right. That's what we put in here. Raw name and raw points.
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Otherwise, it would have just been name and points, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's just that
Okay, cool.
because we're saying the
Okay,
actual name and points will be here. But yeah, when we pass it into submit, we'll be passing the raw name and the raw points. So we're just formatting the name and
sweet.
points to match how we want it to in our side.
Cool.
Um, so we should be able to say a dot then. Yeah. This one allows us to do dot then and dot
Yeah.
catch. Um, which is what I feel like the try catch is just nicer. It's nicer than
Yeah, I
saying
think
dot
so
then.
too,
So
dude.
it made sense in the snapshot because the snapshot works like as a dot then,
Yeah,
but like when we're doing this kind of stuff, like try catch is just so much cleaner. So just remember to make it an asynchronous function.
cool.
Um, ew. Um, if we wanted to, we could even just set the stuff. But yeah, if there's an error and stuff, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
What we have now is good.
How come the other one is set inside the try with a const name and point? Is set inside the try
Um, which
and
which other ones? Oh,
so on the right side it's set
because
inside the try.
nothing here.
Yes.
Yeah, this stuff doesn't actually need to go in here
Oh, that can go above.
because
Yes.
nothing will go
Okay.
wrong
Yes.
there. We know that stuff can go wrong here, so we do it in there.
Cool. So we're
Um,
just
we need
defining
to
now.
say await because we want to wait for something to happen.
Yeah.
Um, and then in here again, the alert something bad happened. What we could do is we could make another helper.
Yeah.
So we'll make it like a catch handler.
Okay.
So one is to be like that error handler where
Yes.
it takes in the. I mean, you could just use the error handler here and
Yeah,
chuck
I
in
think the error would be
ex.
just chilled.
It's just like it returns stuff which doesn't matter,
Yeah.
But we can still say our error handler in here, and if there's no error, it will do nothing.
Cool.
So fair enough. Yeah, we've imported from helpers. Um, yeah. Sorry. While I'm at it, let me just make sure I export this as default. We do need to do some more stuff. One more thing. Um,
Cool.
use contestant. Wait. Use submit contestant. So after this happens,
Yeah.
we can run the callback. But what I think we should do, let's prove that this works first. But I actually
Okay.
like this
Cool.
is what I like to try to do is avoid having a callback kind of function thing here and rather just running it where we're going to use it. But I mean, like
Okay.
on the one end it works, like it fits in all in one. But on the other end, yeah, I don't know, like I don't know. but
Cool.
yeah, so we do that. We do need to say we do also need to say set is submitting to false after this,
Yeah.
and we need to run that same set is submitting false in the catch.
Cool.
Um, I mean, I think we can actually just run it after it all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. The callback we only want to run if it succeeds.
Yes.
So
If not, the error.
yeah, actually, what we're doing now, like I think this is better than anything else because if the catch doesn't work or something, then you don't want to have to try catch outside in the other side of
Yeah.
things. So this is good. This is
Okay.
really good.
All
Obviously,
right.
we're gonna do a check and set up the update stuff.
Yeah.
But
And the so the callback, what is the callback doing quickly?
the callback is running. Hopefully, this goes to the right screen. No, it doesn't. The callback is running this clear inputs. So what's essentially being done is this third function that we put in here,
Yeah.
we use over here, and we run it over here. So we run clear inputs over here. this
Oh,
function.
because that's the callback. Okay, yes, I see that.
Yeah,
Okay.
like you could even do this and that would work too, but we just moved it to its own little function. So it basically takes the function and runs it. The
Okay,
brackets next
cool.
to it means it's being run. We're not actually running it
Okay,
in
cool.
here. We're just
Okay.
passing the definition of the function over, and then we'll actually like call it and run it like in the app. So it's quite cool. Quite some like weird next level stuff, but like yeah. Let's export default.
Bro, I'll be here right now.
Cool.
Some of our friends just got you. I just want to say hello quick.
Okay, cool. No
And then we
worries.
can. Cool.
Um, for everyone else listening, I am just gonna test this out, make sure it's working, and then in the meantime, while it is working, if it is working, uh, capitalize is not defined. I forgot to import that. Okay, that's fine. I need to import capitalize from helpers. Good stuff. Let's just make sure that my console is running. So yeah, it says capitalize. I spelled that wrong. I don't need this bottom stuff anymore, so I'm going to close all that.
Hey, my bro, I'm back.
Sweet. I forgot to import capitalize, so I was just cleaning that up, and the only thing I've done is export, so you haven't missed anything.
Okay, cool.
Use submit contestant is not defined. Okay, let me just make sure I export default properly here. Okay, maybe back in the submit button I forgot to import it. Yeah, I did. So I'm going to import use submit contestant from hooks,
Yeah.
and then theoretically this should run. Okay, it does. Let's head over to Chrome and see that this is loading. It's loading
Is
a
she
page, fetching
working?
contestants. If we add a new guy, we have 10 points there. Everything breaks. So I must find out what went wrong here. Uncaught type error. Illegal constructor. Uh,
Hmm.
base state reducer type of function action state. What does that mean? Hectic. Um,
Yeah.
damn it. Why did this happen? Okay, can't
Um,
perform a React update state on unmounted component. I wonder if that's got to do with our callback thing, with our set name and all that stuff.
mm,
Because it's part of context, so that might be stuff with reducer, because that's what context does, like context and reducer. It might be because we're trying to run this stuff in here. So let's go back to our use contestant and just see if it works without the callback. Um,
okay.
we'll use submit, because the callback thing might be the issue here. So I'm going to just comment out the callback.
Okay.
Might still break. um,
Um,
yeah,
okay, yeah. No, it's just the whole callback thing.
because it
I'll ask you
worked. It
just
did
now.
actually make it. It's just the callback thing didn't work. Let's make another test. 11 to 11. No. So it's working, but it's crashing the app. Um,
Hmm.
that's like the big thing. So again, let's try remove that even further and not pass it through to submit. I mean, the name and points, like,
Yeah.
I think I should say await here. That's my problem. But I just want to get it to a point where it's working without crashing, and then
Yeah, and then
make
work from there.
make our fixes. I didn't expect that to happen. Yeah, sorry, we are going. We've gone on for a long time today.
Yeah. How long have we been talking?
2 hours so far.
Jeez, dude.
So I'm gonna
What the
make
heck?
Barry
It
2.
does.
Give me 1 point. Still crashes. Why?
Damn.
Why are you crashing? Because this is fine. Oh, that should be true. I don't know why that was that. That might be
What?
what's wrong.
Oh.
Sorry, TypeScript would have picked that up. It was
Yeah.
one of those like autocorrect like things. So
Yeah, I hate that, man.
basically, for people not on VS Code, um,
Yeah.
I had this here for some reason set text track queue list, which should just be true.
That's so weird. That is so weird.
Must have made a typo. Okay. Anyway, back to Chrome. Let's test it once more. Yeah, great. So, I didn't mean to go to the actual contestant, but good to know that that works. We didn't even test our get contestant if it was working, did we? We just assumed it would work, which it does, which is cool.
I checked it and it was working.
Give this person a million points.
Jeez.
Okay,
Oh.
but something bad happened. What bad happened? Callback is not a function. Okay, that's fine. It just tried to run
Okay.
callback when callback wasn't added in. Yeah. What we should do is we should make this callback function optional.
Yes. Okay, wait. So on that callback quickly, my bro. Okay, I understand what it does and everything, and it is
Yeah.
um, the third thing that's passed through. But now I wanted to ask, how does the screen on the left, which is the you submit
Yeah.
contestant, how does that receive that callback? Where does it get that from?
Um, it gets it from over here. Clear inputs. Clear
Yeah,
inputs
but
is
I
callback.
mean, like, how does it pass it through? Where is it getting that from? Is it
Well, how does it get
importing?
raw name from? And how does it get raw points from? If I rename this to callback, does that make
Yeah.
more sense?
No, no, no. You can leave it the way it was.
This is where it gets it from.
Yes, I know that's where, but like I'm saying on the right screen it's defined what the callback is, but on the left
Here's
screen it's not
submit.
defined.
Um, yeah, it's defined. It's a parameter.
So it's the parameter. Yeah,
So
so
I mean, it
it's
can be
just
whatever
part.
you want it to be in here. Console.log. That will be the new callback. Test. Now the callback is console.log test. It's defined over here. It's a parameter.
And yeah, I'm saying, how does it get that parameter? Like, how does it bring it in? Is it by the,
So when you have a function,
yeah,
function simple func
yeah,
arg1 argument 2 console.log arg1 arg2,
yeah,
you call that function
yeah,
like this simple func, and then you can put in like 1 and 2 in there,
okay,
right?
yeah,
So arg1 is 1, arg2
yes,
is 2.
yes,
If we change this to 3, then arg1 is 3,
yes,
so it's 3. So there we go, basics of
okay,
functions established.
yeah,
Here we have a function called submit.
yes,
It takes in arg1, arg2, arg3. We named
yes,
arg1 raw name. We named arg2 raw points. We named arg3 callback.
yes,
when we called it, we used it over here. Arg1 is name, arg2 is points, and arg3 is this callback.
Okay.
We define it over here. This is the definition of the function. And this is us
Yes.
using the function with parameters that we put in here. We can put like a test in here, so we're always putting in test, and then we'll put in like 10 points. I mean, it's got to be a string, and then we can do this log test if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Um, argument 1 separated by a comma, argument
Yes.
2 separated
Argument
by a
two.
comma,
Yeah.
and argument 3.
Okay.
Except instead of test, I'm going to put in the value name, which comes from a context,
Yeah.
and the value points. Sorry, I messed that up.
Yeah. It's fine.
Which comes from our
Okay.
context, and the
Yes.
value clear input, which is a function, which comes from
Comes from.
there, that we made
Yeah.
it there.
Yeah.
And now in here, this
Yes.
name that comes from
Yes.
use context gets used over here in capitalized raw name, which becomes this new name function. This points, which comes from use context, gets used over here as raw points, and we recall
Okay.
it for. I mean, if it helps, I can call this formatted name and formatted points. You know.
Okay.
But calling it name and points is just easier because when we add later, it works there.
Okay.
Callback as a function comes from clear inputs,
Yes.
and we're
Which
putting
is
that function
the.
in there. So
Yes.
that function, this function over here, is this over here.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
And now we call it over here.
Yes.
Like you would when you have const simple func
Okay. Okay.
is equal to something. To use that, you say simple func.
Yes. And now, if we wanted to use, just for instance, if we wanted to use basically another thing inside there, inside the screen on the left, we would add another argument.
You can add a fourth one.
Yeah.
Then call it like arg4 if you wanted to.
Yes.
And then if you put in like test as a string here,
Yes.
then if you console logs arg4 in here, you'd get test.
Yes. So now that's exactly what I want to ask you. So I know how all that works, right?
Okay.
But all I want
Yeah.
to know is, so how does it get that value through? Is it like import use state? Is that what it's from, or is it like, I just don't understand where it's, how those two are working together, those two files.
The submit
Yes.
is the submit. This use submit contestant
Yes.
returns. Oh, flip, if I could remove that. Is submitting and submit.
Yes.
So
Okay.
we go and get is submitting and submit from use submit contestant.
Oh, there we go. So,
Yeah.
and that is, so in the, on the screen on the left at the top,
Yeah.
thereby is submitting.
Here's is
So there
submitting
is submitting.
and
Use
here's submit.
state. So we get that from the state.
We get is submitting from the state that we make in this
Okay.
component. So is submitting
Right.
is part of use state, which
Okay.
we set and update. Submit
Yes.
is just a function.
Okay, cool.
It's just a function that we make inside this use contestant
Yes.
block. But then we pass that submit, like we pass this down as an output here, and we get to use it in here.
Okay.
So this thing that gets returned here is the same thing that we're destructuring from, like, yeah.
See, what, bro, this is what I was thinking. I thought the screen on the right was exporting stuff to the screen on the left. Meantime, we're actually importing use submit contestant from the hooks, which is the screen on the left. So it's working the other way.
So it kind of works a bit both ways.
Okay.
Look, is submitting, this is just a value that gets set and changed within this
Yes.
this thing.
Yes.
and yeah, we get that submitting is easy to grasp.
Okay, yes.
This submit function
Yes.
is a function that runs when you pass it these three things.
Yes.
So that's all good.
Yeah.
Um, but we export the whole function out of this, and
Okay,
then it
cool,
gets
yes.
imported over here.
Yes.
And then we use that function here, which
Perfect.
again,
That
it's an
makes
asynchronous
so
function,
much.
so we're waiting and we're doing all that. The reason our thing crashed just now is because we
Yes.
weren't awaiting. We needed to
Okay,
await.
that makes a lot more sense. I see the way it's,
Yeah.
yeah, dude,
So
because I was,
it is
yeah,
weird. Like quite a weird thing to wrap your head around. But this
yeah,
should be enough for you. This is exactly how you'll make the delete one.
cool,
You'll just go
awesome.
take instead of saying
Yes.
collections and all that stuff, you'll just delete a document at a specific ID.
Okay,
Like you'll
cool.
take an ID as an input. Well, you'll take the ID as the input over here. So the ID
Yeah,
will go in here. And
cool,
then
my bro.
if you wanted to, you could do a callback. What I was gonna say is this callback is like it could be undefined. So
Yes,
if you didn't add this in here,
yeah,
then it would break. So to get
yes,
around
of
that,
course.
we just have to say if callback. So if callback exists, then run callback.
Yes, okay, cool.
So that fixes that problem that we had.
Okay, sweet, dude.
Um, Now, if we
Thank
go
you.
over to Chrome, yeah, that's a pleasure. Um,
Yeah, it's so weird. I thought that the other side was passing that information through to the other side, and I was like, how does
it's
it
like, how
get
does
it
this
being from
work?
the side? Yeah,
Let's make a
so
new
anyway.
guy. Test. Give him 1 point. Submit. It works. No issues in the console. Everything just works.
Epic.
So now we can look at
Updating.
updating this to work with checking the existing name.
Cool, let's do it.
So what I recommend is this kind of formatted name will have to match an existing contestant's name.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go look at our let's go look at our use contestant because we're gonna actually try and find the contestant with where the name matches this time instead of where the
Yeah.
ID matches. We're gonna find where the name matches.
Okay, cool.
So
I know how all that works at
we
least,
do
so that's
this
all good.
regardless. It works. Awesome.
Yes.
What I think we could do, I mean, we could theoretically, we could just do it all in here. Um,
Cool.
we'll put the whole thing in a try catch. Um,
Awesome.
or do we? Yeah, because we're not actually gonna get the we're not gonna say on snapshot. We're just gonna say dot get because we just want to get it at that point.
Okay, cool.
Because we don't have to on snapshot is to monitor it to make it real time.
Okay.
So we just want to get the list like really quickly, which I think. Okay, this is right because getting contestant, we want to stream the contestant data, but for the other
Yes.
one, we just want to get it like as is. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say const doc equals db dot collection,
Yeah.
and we get our contestants.
Yes.
Now the order doesn't really matter, so I'm not gonna
Cool.
order them. Um, I think we can just do doc get.
Yes.
I need to go look at that map thing that we had.
Okay.
Let me just quickly check Stack Overflow. Firebase React get all docs in a collection because I need to see that like map thing, how we got the
Mm-hmm.
docs, and just see that format. There we go. Answer was answered like 2 years ago, August 30th,
Yo.
2018. Um, yeah, so they just said const snapshots and then they said snapshot.docs. So I'm going to copy that.
Okay.
What people did basically is they said this. const snapshot equals firebase.firestore. So we have that firebase.firestore. That's just db.
Yeah,
So we
DB,
say
yeah. Dot,
snapshot.
yeah.
Um, and we just say get. Okay, cool. Perfect.
Just get.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that gets the snapshot. And then
Yes.
what they did was they did a snapshot.docs. So snapshot.docs
Yeah.
dot what am I doing? How did that happen? It's like a freaking wizard. So I'm gonna snapshot.docs is the array of documents.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say const found found doc is gonna equal like pretty much what we did down here. So
Yes.
it is like what we want. And now we're gonna
Yeah.
say find. Now instead of finding where the ID matches, and we don't need the rank either, so the rank doesn't matter. We're
Yes.
just gonna say doc, and
Yes.
we're gonna turn doc.name. I think it's
Yes.
dot.data.name. Sorry. So doc.data. Remember, doc.data
Yes, we
returns an
have to
object of
access.
name and points. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So doc.data.name
Okay.
is equal. That's too many equals. To name. And that name is the name that we've capitalized here. So if the
Yes.
formatted name matches the document name, which is
Yes.
already formatted,
Yes.
then we have a found doc. Cool.
Cool.
So now we're gonna say if found doc, we'll do some stuff. Um, else we will do this thing,
Yes.
and
That's
then afterwards we do a
the
different if statement. Like
okay,
this
cool.
statement here is just gonna run like later.
Yes.
Um, so what we want to do now is
Yeah.
we want to update the guy. So
Yeah.
what I'm going to do now is say collection
Mm.
contestants.
Yes.
Sheesh, actually, like we say DB like contestants a lot. I'm going to fix that just after this. I
Okay.
wonder if we can say update. Um, it's probably set. Um, wait, contestants.doc. Sorry. So the doc has to
So
match the
yes.
doc.id. Or it's the found doc.id, sorry. Sorry, found should be a small f. Found doc is the found contestant that we have here, and we only have them if it is found, otherwise we would just add them. So,
Okay, cool.
um, there's a set here, and there's an update. What's the difference? Rights to the document referred to by the document. If the document does not yet exist, it will be created. Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
the so if the document's not set, it will create a new one. But the problem is, like, it will create a new one with that ID that we set. So that's pretty pointless.
Okay.
Let's see the difference with update. Um, let's see what update does. Update might just mean it like updates one field as opposed to set.
Yes. Okay.
Updates fields in the document referred to by the document reference. Sorry, reading documents again. This update will fail if applied to a document that does not exist. Okay, that's fine. We've already checked that the document does exist, so that's fine.
Yes.
Um,
Sorry, my bro. Found doc ID. What is so we're finding the doc and
we're updating the document at that document
at
ID that
that.
we found.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
So param, and then
Yes.
a promise
Yeah.
resolved once the data has been successfully written to the backend. So it is an await thing as well. So I
Yes.
must bear that in mind.
Cool.
That promise won't be resolved if you're not connected, so it will just update forever until you get a
Cool.
connection, which is like, yeah, we can work around that later.
Cool.
So I'm wondering, the data, so it will contain the fields and values. So theoretically, we just need to update points. And points here will be the found doc dot data dot points plus points. Does that make sense? I'm just gonna save and
Yes,
we'll get pretty again.
that makes sense. The
So
syntax and everything.
let's look over this again. We have a function here. It
Yes,
runs through all the contestants that we have and tries to
yes,
find if the name matches the name, the names match, then we find the document,
yes.
which is the contestant document.
Yeah.
If there is a found contestant document, we will
Then
go to that contestant document at that ID and we'll update the points field in it. And that points will be the found doc points, so the existing found doc that we have, plus the points that we adding onto it.
cool, dude.
Otherwise, we will just add a
Do
new
the normal
document
add.
with name and
Yes.
points. Yeah. The way set works is the difference between update and set is
Yeah.
update will update like fields in the value. If we said set
Yes.
points, then it would replace the name or replace the whole document with just points.
Okay, sweet, my bro.
So that's the difference between set and update. Set is you set the
Oh,
whole
so
thing.
set would replace the whole document.
Yeah. So set would replace like name Barry points 10 with just points 20. But
Okay.
update will just change points. So if you wanted to use set, you'd have to specifically say name is equal to found doc. I mean, if you wanted to say set, you could just do found doc dot data and dot dot dot, like dot 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 found doc dot data. But I think our update method is,
But
simpler.
better, yeah.
And literally all I got was like from reading our encode documents on that. If you hold your cursor over here long enough, it tells you what
Yes, I
update
know.
does.
I checked. I was
So
reading with you on that.
it's a bit weird to read, but yeah,
It
you
makes
can
sense.
kind of
Yeah.
make out what it's supposed to do
Yes.
from that.
Sweet.
Anyway, we should test it and see if it works.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing that we're saying db.contestants a lot. So what I want to do is maybe export contestants db or contestants collection.
Yes, I understand. Maybe even contestants data or something like that.
Yeah.
Or yeah, or the DB. DB makes the most sense. Contestants DB.
Yeah. I guess I'll just call it contestants collection because I mean it's simple enough actually.
Yeah,
Screw
all
it. Let's
that.
just leave it as is. I'm not gonna
Yeah, dude.
simplify
That's super chilled.
that. Okay. It's back to our app.
Ho ho
See if this
ho.
works. Okay, so let's go add another 10 points to me, so I should have 20 after this. Something bad happened. Why?
No.
Uh,
It all
cannot
makes so much sense.
cannot read find of undefined. Okay, so something bad happened here.
Cannot read.
Contestants, I spelled that. So I wonder if I can console.log snapshot here. Did I I know what's wrong.
What's wrong?
We need to await this DB collection get.
Yeah.
So if we don't wait for that value, then it will be undefined.
Oh yes, okay. Because it's async.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
The find will happen,
Yeah.
instantaneously. That's not like a fetch kind
Yes.
of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. This is quite nice.
Yeah, this was flipping fun. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy, eh? Like
I've been smiling
So
so much.
try again. Yeah, I got 20 points.
Whoa! And it's like
Give
instantly.
you like 100 points. Yeah, you have 100 points now.
Yay.
So
It's instantly updating.
yeah, because the way our hooks are working, this is like real time. That's always
Yeah.
real time. If we go click on your name, it's cool.
Crazy. Dude,
If
that was epic.
if like we went to like Firebase now, like I'm just gonna do it on my phone. See if I
Yeah.
can do it from there.
Yeah.
and update you, then it will update
Yes.
like automatically.
Yeah. Yo, this was a load. Damn.
Yeah, now you have to do delete.
Yeah, I'm gonna do delete
But
later.
I want to see if I can. Uh,
It's already freaking 2:30. What the heck?
yeah, it's crazy. So I'm gonna go on my phone quickly and update like
Cool.
your thing,
Sweet, my
um,
bro.
Kevin, if I can. Uh,
Cool.
just getting in there. So I'm looking at you right now,
Yeah.
and
On the Hangouts.
yeah, staring at your face. No, I'm joking. Sorry, I just have to like change my phone.
Okay.
So keep looking at the screen,
Yes, I'm looking.
and I'm gonna change your number like down to like 50 on my phone.
Cool.
Then there we go, it updated.
Straight away.
Yeah,
Brew.
we'll
This was so
give
fun.
you a 5 letter name as opposed to a 3 letter name, and now
Yeah.
it's 3 letters.
Perfect.
So
Awesome.
yeah, I mean the same thing happens here. Obviously, if I changed your
Yes.
name to K,
Yeah.
it literally happens instantaneously. Like watch, I'm gonna say update now.
Boom. Yeah.
Like
Straight away.
it's like
So fast,
really
bro.
epic. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty
Sure.
cool. I mean,
Awesome.
the kind of other way that you'd usually do this is you
Yeah.
like yeah, if you wanted to, you could go to on the contestant page here. If you were an admin, you could add like an
Yes.
edit button,
Yes. Okay.
and then you go and have the name and points there in as they are. So you fetch the existing contestant and you show their current name and points, like as
Yes.
the
Okay.
default value,
Yes.
and then you update it there, and then you
Yes.
can like submit that update.
Yeah. Okay. Sick, dude.
You can even like real time update it if you wanted to,
Yeah, that'd be
but
awesome.
like real time updating there is a bit pointless because you don't actually
Yeah.
want to like change it without like submitting the change, you know.
Yes, of
So that
course.
could be a good thing for like you and Richard to do like
Yeah, that'd be
later.
good
But
practice.
I'm just thinking, what would you
Sweet.
do next?
I was thinking, so next, let me just check here quickly. So we've got everything pretty much.
Just gonna
Oh,
like,
so what we're gonna do next is refresh all contestants.
yeah, those refresh functions.
Yes,
Yeah,
refresh
cool.
contestants or refresh contestants points.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess like homework tonight is make
Yeah.
the make the delete hook because
Yes.
now you have great examples.
Yeah, beautiful examples, bro.
Yeah, and the submit hook will help you a lot with that.
Yeah,
Like seeing
cool.
how to do that function thing, it will be really good. So make
Yeah.
the delete hook should be very simple.
Yes.
Because we have how
We've
to do
gone
it.
over a lot more than the simplicity of that should be a lot easier, but let's see.
Yeah, because you basically you have these two documents and you should be able to build it quite nicely out of that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
you just
Leave it
put in
up to me, I got it.
yeah, put the ID in there and have the is
Yeah.
deleting as well because we want to actually keep
Yes.
track of that, and then just go implement the hook. So
Cool.
you'll return is deleting and delete. Actually, you'll have
Yes.
delete and is deleting because you're alphabetical. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, and but I'm just gonna push this stuff up quickly.
Cool, my bro. I'll pull it
Implemented.
later and then yeah, that was super fun.
Submit.
Wow.
Contestant hook. Should tell Richard that we're done. I'll send him your link that you sent me.
Cool, bro.
Because you're the one hosting this call now. Because
Yeah.
I had my technical difficulties. Um, Richard, we're done.
I think maybe we should yeah, maybe we should chat to Richie later.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Because yeah, because I've got my other friends here as well now. So I
Yeah.
just want to go and just say how's it to them and see what they've been up to. And then we can meet up just now with Richard. Maybe we can all just do a video call and check how everyone's day's been.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, cool.
Sweet. Okay,
Well,
well,
oh
have
well,
fun.
now look at it. Wait, he's responding.
Yeah, he just said cool.
Oh, cool.
So
Perfect.
yeah,
Awesome, my bro.
yeah, you could let
Cool,
us
my
know
bro.
over time that suits
Yes.
you and stuff.
Perfect, my bro.
Cool.
Thank you
I'm free the
so,
rest of the
dude.
day, so yeah.
Thank you so much
It's
today.
a pleasure. It's really
Like
cool.
this was really cool. This was freaking awesome, bro. I'm gonna go show my friends, and it's their names Roxy and Stu. I'm gonna go show them.
Sweet.
Yeah, they actually they play guitar and sing on the cruise ships.
Oh, flip. That's epic. Yo.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go, and he's probably gonna show me some more skills on the guitars.
Nice. Sweet,
Yeah,
dude.
sweet dude. I'll speak to you later. Thank you so much,
It's a
bro.
pleasure. It was fun for
That
me
was
too.
awesome, dude.
So yeah.
Yeah, that was the best session ever. It was super
Epic.
cool. Making
Sweet.
a lot more sense, but still, yeah, gathering all the info. So
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay,
yeah,
well,
cool, my
catch you
bro.
then.
Have a
Have
lekker
fun.
one.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, catch you
Cheers.
just now. Bye.
Bye. Right, I'm still with you guys, so I'm gonna stop streaming now as well. Cheers, guys. I hope you had fun. And I'll chat to you guys in my videos.